What is going on, guys? It's your boy Az. We are back here with another episode of the Battleworld Sentry, and today I wanted to get this out earlier for you guys. Last time I had it on the same day, and I feel like it didn't really help people if they were kind of scrambling, but I wanted to get this preamble video for you guys out there so it's earlier and it's in your hands. And yeah, we're going to just quickly talk about the teams that I used in the last Battleworld Sentry. Actually, let me back up a bit. We won't use the footage from the last one. We'll use it from the time before, because last time they had a little bit of a glitch where if you killed the boss, it gave you like an extra 2 billion points. And I believe they would have most likely fixed it this time around. So I'm hoping that they did. And if they didn't, then great. Then we may be able to get extra shards. But as of course with all the Battle World Sentries, it's good to note these combat mods that are active when the boss is live. And again, this isn't the boss fight. Isn't occurring today. It's going to occur tomorrow. Today we still have one more day for the Battle World Sentry, day 3. And then tomorrow at around noon, that is when this one will go live. And then you guys can get those Battle World Sentry shards. Okay, so he is immune to, he's immune to a whole bunch of stuff. So, of course, darkness and all that other stuff. So, it really sucks because then he can't really do a massive amount of damage to himself. So, keep that in mind. He can also summon hero allies when he is in his sentry form. And then when he switches into his void form, he summons the villains. Keep in mind, when he is in the hero form, you want to make sure he stays in the hero form for as long as possible. So, that's just because he does more damage to himself, and his void form actually does more damage. So void, basically, you can take out everybody when they drop, so that way he doesn't get any bonuses, because the more people he has on the board, it's going to make more sense. It's going to make more sense if you guys check out my footage. I'm going to have the previous gameplay footage for you guys as well. I won't have everything on this video, but I'll have it in the description so you guys can go ahead and go through it, because yeah, I do a little bit of a better analysis there, and I'm not going to regurgitate what I've already kind of told you guys. It's already been done in a video. I don't need to redo it. So he loses 2% of his max health whenever he attacks a brimstone ally. This is going to be key. So again, I'm assuming most people don't have daring warriors and they don't have retcon built up. So brimstone is still going to be our bread and butter for this. So of course, that's going to be the team that's going to be the best for this. And yeah, every time they hit themselves, they're gonna basically do 2%. He's going to be doing 2% when he attacks it. And again, it says Sentry, right? Sentry loses 2% of his health. That it doesn't say Void. It says Sentry. So that means we want to keep Sentry in Sentry form for as long as possible, so that he's doing 2% of his health every single time he attacks. So it also looks like that they are allowing this time for retcon and daring warriors to also have that maximum damage capacity. Yeah, like I said, last time I think they screwed up and there was a bug where every single team was doing 3 times as much damage, so our numbers were a bit inflated, so we weren't able to get some estimates of if teams did good or bad. But this time, hopefully, if they have it fixed, we'll get a better understanding of that. This new one here, again, Darkened Hearts, it's not anything new, sorry, but it's they added in the daring warriors and the retcon, saying they get more health. So even though you don't have like a 5-piece team built, if you still have partial pieces of retcon, if you have partial pieces of daring warrior, you may still be able to at least get some extra damage output out there. Unfortunately, the damage is still capped unless you have 5 brimstone or 5 retcon or 5 daring warriors. But if you do have the individual pieces, like if you're going for eclipse, if you're going for if you still have 4-piece retcon, they may still be potentially good teams to use, because they have that increased damage and they have the increased armor and health as well. So let's jump into the roster here so you guys can take a look at what I'm doing here. Oh, why does Eclipse there? Because I think I was trying to look for the teams there, but let's look at the roster here. So again, the best and most, I think, available team to everybody is going to be the Brimstone team. And what's important here is, and you guys don't see it right now on my roster here, but what's important here is, because we want them to survive the longest, what you want to do is you want to make sure everybody is going to be a fortifier for this battle. So that way they're going to have sustain, they're going to have the barrier. When they have the barrier and they get attacked, Sentry's going to lose 2% of his health just from you standing there and from him attacking. So keep in mind as well. The next best team is going to be this Fantastic Four with Odin and Mephisto. Again, there's footage of it, and I'll show you guys how much damage it does. But yeah, it's going to be the next best team. I mean, it's just Fantastic Four is Fantastic Four. If you don't have the mythics to go along with it, don't sweat it. There's a lot of plug and play pieces you can use here. The the main core three of the Fantastic Four will be kind of your essential piece there, and I'll definitely try it on my baby account. I don't know if I'll have gameplay footage of that because yeah, we're like on max difficulty on my baby account, so I don't know if they'll even survive one turn, but we'll see how it goes. But if you don't have Odin, if you don't have Mephisto, no worries. You can sub in other characters that can form synergies. Human Torch would be a really good one because of the fact that he does the healing and the assists. And another good example here as well would be if you have some other character that, like Quasar. If you got Blastar, if you got Null, other characters that, that are still very, very good plug and play. And of course as well, if you have like Sentry unlocked, he may be good as well because yeah, he is still a very, very good plug and play character. His stats and everything are good. Other characters could be, any of the 3.0 stats characters like the Retcon, the Winter Guard, basically any of the new teams that they've pumped out on us. So anybody would probably be a good slot in here as long as they have a good amount of levels and if they have a good amount of gear tier, you should be okay there. And then last but not least, we're going to go with Astro here. This is the previous Battleworld team. I don't know why you wouldn't include this in your lineup. They have a whole bunch of sustain, heals, safeguard, barrier, and again, with this one, you could potentially change their ISO 8s as well to barrier if you wish, but I just kind of keep it the same as healing because they have so much sustain, they have so much healing, and you just don't really need it. I have Sentry here as kind of a way to kind of just separate the must-3 teams that you should use. So these are going to be my top 3 here, and then again, if you have extras, right? If you don't have these teams, if you don't have Astro, no worries. You can also use Vigilantes, and you could also use Insidious 6. There was also some pretty good damage outputs on these teams that I had done in the past. Both of which were over 100, north of 100 mil. So both teams will be solid if you got Vigilantes. Again, Vigilantes double dipping where they need to be. Still, I find to be the most balanced team in this game out of all the teams. They're just so good in all the game modes. They're so good as a starting character, a starting player. They're so good for unlocking Quasar, and they're so good for unlocking, a whole bunch of different game modes. And you need a good solid city team as well. So Insidious 6 kind of ties in with them as well. And it's funny because these two teams are also kind of the teams you need for Professor Xavier, so I can't see them going anywhere anytime soon, but if you have them as built-up raid teams, that's great. They're also going to give you some more value here. The characters here that I think that are kind of the most important if you don't have the full team build is the Insidious 6. You definitely need Superior Spider-Man to have the safeguard, to have the heals, and Vulture is going to give the turn bar to the group when he kills off everybody and gets turn meter to the group. Vigilantes, I mean, Daredevil and Hitmonkey and Silver Sable are kind of the key pieces. Daredevil for obvious reasons, taunting, healing, all that good stuff. Hitmonkey, just damage outputs, slinging around, doing his thing. He's going to get energy back as well on kill. And then, of course, Silver Sable for stripping buffs and all that other stuff. So the other two you could probably get away with, and if you want to slot in other characters that you have. Now, having said that, if you don't, if these teams all seem fine and dandy, I also want to talk about what I already mentioned earlier regarding teams that you can plug and play with. So again, even if you don't have the full complete team like myself here, I don't have Daring Warriors leveled up, so I don't know if I want to do that for the purposes of this event. I have enough teams between all these guys that I may just avoid doing these teams. But if you have Eclipse, if you have your Daredevil and your JJ, and those guys are built up, and you don't have the complete team, or you do have the complete team, it's going to be a very, very solid team. They're going to be up there with the Brimstone. You're gonna have another top tier killing team, and you're gonna be able to break some massive damage outputs, I think, if you have all these teams. Retcon, same thing. We don't have Jeff the Land Shark, but guess what? We do potentially we are gonna be able to get him unlocked here over the weekend here when the war payout comes, because yeah, we are finally nearing his shards, and yeah, maybe by then, maybe I'll start debating or not if I want to bring these guys up. But again, if you can see the levels here, I've only previously leveled these guys from way back when we were doing, I don't remember what we were doing, either Scourges or if we were doing some type of unlock on Shadow King or Old Man Logan. I don't even remember when I used these guys last, but as you can see, they're still pretty fairly built up, from me not even using them. So Jeff will be a nice addition, and if, maybe for the next Battle World, maybe I'll test around with a level 90-ish retcon team just to see how they perform without spending too much gold. I think if we just bring Jeff up a little bit, we should be able to get some pretty decent sustain from the other key characters between She-Hulk and Squirrel Girl as well. And of course as well, I'll go over my Daring Warriors. My Daring Warriors is pretty weak. We got JJ and Daredevil at level 80, which is fine. Again, I brought these guys up probably way back, I think when we had the Heroes for Hire. But yeah, these guys, are definitely needing some love here. And again, we just got Eclipse unlocked yesterday. So again, this is kind of where I'm at with these guys. And yeah, Speedball, Night Thrasher, not even close. So that's kind of where I'm at. But let's jump into some quick couple minutes of gameplay so you guys can have it in your hands and you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about with regards to the Brimstone and the Mephisto Odin team, and of course as well with the Astral team. Okay, guys, so this is just some footage, like I said, from a couple Battle Worlds ago. Actually, this is kind of right when I started back on my YouTube, and this was the first Battle World boss that I had released. So the link is in the description if you guys want it. But again, here, we are playing up against Sentry, and again, you never know what kind of situation you're going into, so you want to make sure when you go into it, he's not going to just like throw some crazy attacks on you. But as you guys can kind of see here, we have our team trying to keep Sentry here for as long as possible. Unfortunately, sometimes that isn't always the case because your characters will just kill off. But you guys can kind of see at the start, I was not trying to target him. And again, when we switch over to that void form here, trying to make sure your health and your, you've got a good amount of sustain, you got your abilities all up and ready to go, because when he switches over to void form, he usually has a whole bunch of minions that he summons, the villains, and we want to make sure we can get rid of it. So again, as you can kind of see the ticks on his rage, or whatever you want to call it, when he loses all his hits there, then he switches over from Sentry over to Void form. So again, this is going to do it here. He's going to switch over to Void. The minions get summoned. Guess what, guys? We're going to throw the big altar. That's going to give energy back to the group. That's important because Daemon fills up the energy for his whole team that doesn't have the energy. So again, we can throw the basic here, and once you get enough hits on him, he's got a couple more hits, then he's going to switch back to Sentry form. And when he switches back to Sentry form, again, we want to make sure we don't hit Sentry, right? So again here, as best as you can, right? Obviously, I know depending on your AoEs, depending on cooldowns, depending on the taunt from Hulk, it may change, right? Right here, we do the alt here. We do that because we want the buffs coming back up, because we just wanted some heals. But yeah, don't do what I did there. Just single target the other guys. You can basic there. Again, this is kind of where I cut the footage. I don't know if it was a good example or bad example, but we'll just kind of show you guys the damage output here. And again, they're going to have a lot of sustain. They're going to get lots of heals from the energy. And I'm probably going to move Hellcat maybe further away because I want to keep her alive longer. So again, we do about, where is that? 700,000-ish. 700,000-ish damage here. So you guys can see that. So that's the footage there. And yeah, I mean, that was kind of they're going to be doing a lot of the heavy lifting. And again, if you have Jeff the Land Shark, if you have the Daring Warriors, I imagine that's going to be some similar damage outputs. Odin, same team, same strategy, except in this case, we don't need to keep the barrier up. We don't need to keep him alive for as long as the other, like the Brimstone strategy. You can just focus him. He doesn't get that extra 2% damage output that the Brimstone would get, so it really doesn't matter. But what I will recommend is start saving all your ults and your cooldowns, because yeah, when Sentry does his bomb, for every enemy I think that's on the board that's still alive, he does damage measurable to a percentage of that. I think it's like 2% or 10% or 5% or something to each enemy. I have to look at it. I don't remember which one it is. But yeah, just take care of him as soon as possible. And this team is going to have so much sustain thanks to the safeguard from Mr. Fantastic. Thanks from the buffs as well, spreading from Franklin Richards. And of course as well, Odin's going to top us off with his special. And he's just going to keep retaliating with his assists, right? So this is kind of where, again, you can keep Sentry in that form if you want. I don't know if it's a good strategy or not. It really doesn't matter. The team is so good, and you just want to do as much damage as you can before he switches back over. So I kind of just spam attack there. But yeah, well, this one didn't do as much damage as the Brimstone team. No surprises, because they don't have that 3 times damage output. But I think in the sense where if these guys had the same buffs as the Brimstone guys, they would definitely do more damage, because even with this limited capacity, they still dish out 380,000 worth of damage. The last and final team is the Brimstone, and again, sorry, not Brimstone, the Astral team. This is the last of the 3 teams that I will recommend if you guys have it. If you guys don't, like I said, you can use Vigilantes, you can use Insidia 6, but either way, this is going to be a solid team, and this is one of the audible teams. And again, we're going to get a damage output of about 100. Let's see here, I think over 100,000. So you guys, 168, not bad. So again, guys, I hope this has helped you guys out to kind of get ready for some teams for the battle. And again, if you want to watch the whole gameplay, I think there's some Insidious 6 gameplay of it as well. The link is in the description of my previous videos. If you guys have any questions for me, if you guys have any strategies that you used, if you guys have any teams that are knockouts for you, I'm going to be testing around, like I said, with these 3 teams, and then we'll see what we come up with. Because we have Phoenix Force, we have Professor Xavier, we have Null, we have Quasar. We don't even have them slotted in here, but these are kind of the, like I said, I didn't want a team where it was just Quasar, no Professor Xavier, because not everyone has those crazy teams, right? But I will say, I think for the most part, Brimstone is fairly attainable, and again, Fantastic Four, you don't need Odin or Mephisto to make this work. They have a lot of plug and play characters that you can bring. Astro, previous Battle World team, but even if you don't have Astro, you can bring in any of your. I don't even have Immortal, or sorry, the Immortal weapons. That would probably be another solid team because they do lots of heals and they do lots of crits and stuff. So that would be another solid raid team. But yeah, you could really use any of your raid teams because there are fairly good synergies with each other. And again, as well, if you have Daring Warriors or you have Retcon, oh shoot, congratulations, you're probably gonna hit some pretty insane numbers equivalent to what the Brimstone's hitting. So all right, guys, that's all I got for this one. Hopefully this helped you guys out. If you guys found some value in it, like I said, always appreciate your time. Make sure you guys comment and let me know if whatever your blockbuster teams are. Otherwise, guys, thank you for watching. I'll have the gameplay footage for you guys for the Sentry Battle World Day 3 later on today. And I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll see you guys when I see you guys.